Hi guys, my name is Devoy Davis and this is episode 11 of Beyond the Stock Price. Alright, so we start this week by basically looking back at the major trades that happened on the Jamaica Stock Exchange last week. Today being February 3rd, we'll be looking at the trades that actually took place from January 28th coming up until February 1, so those 5 days of trading. We'll start by basically looking at Monday, and I'll be doing the major trades by volume, so not necessarily by the transaction cost, but primarily by the volume of stocks that traded for each individual stock making up the top 10. Alright, so we start by basically looking at where the markets started out the week at. So on Monday, January 28th, the Jamaica Stock Exchange Combined Index closed the day at 370,710.96 points. The major trades on the day by volume were 3.18 million shares for Portland JSX, followed by 862,758 shares for Grace Kennedy. Then there was 682,000 shares for 1834 Investments. Caribbean Cement saw 678,084 shares being traded. There were 511,594 units of stock traded for 138 Student Living, which actually had their annual general meeting on Tuesday of last week. I actually attended that, and there were some interesting things that came to light for 138. Despite this, I think the stock is actually undervalued currently by the market. It's trading around $2.33 now. On Monday, 495,311 shares traded for Fontana, 382,779 shares traded for Seprod, 171,389 shares traded for AMG. NCB saw 119,000 units trading, and closing out the top 10 for Monday, we have DTL, for which there were 119,141 shares traded. On to Tuesday. So on Tuesday there were 1,747 shares traded for Fontana. Seprod came in second with 1.1 million shares being traded. Blue Power saw 1,001,000 shares being traded. Indies Pharma came in next with 682,906 units of their stock being traded, followed by Panjam with 388,297 shares being traded. Victoria Mutual Investments Limited, there were 322,440 shares traded. Everything Fresh saw 258,493 units of stock being traded. For Wisynco, there was 229,730 shares traded, and the last one on Tuesday was Siboney. Siboney saw 215,000 units being traded to basically close out the top 10 voluminous trades for Tuesday. On Wednesday, Fontana had the lead again with 368,797 units of stock being traded. There were 367,161 units of stock being traded for SSLVC. Proven Jamaica saw 320,020 stocks being traded. There were 309,300 Mayberry Investment Limited shares that traded as well. That was followed by Lasco Financial, which actually saw 232,000 units of stock being traded. It was followed by Wisynco with 200,044 shares being traded. Panjam saw 153,000 775 units being traded, and Carreras ended the day with 151,991 units of stock being traded. The last two largest trades by volume were 134,600 units for AMG, and lastly 121,138 units for Derrimon Trading. On Thursday, Fontana again had the highest amount of units traded with 9,633,854 units. It was followed by Caribbean Cement Company, which actually recorded 2,041,592 units. Proven, the US listed stock, traded 1,312,533 units, and there were 1,233,767 units of Scotia Group trading on the day. That was followed by 761,021 units for Sagicor Group. Jetcon saw 580,985 units of their stock being traded on the day. It was followed by Grace Kennedy in the number 8 spot with 499,000 units. Indies Pharma came in next with 346,285 units of their stock being traded, and then closing out the day on Thursday was Carreras Limited with 286,440 units of their stock being traded. Friday was undoubtedly the most active day on the market. We saw 14,492,015 units of stock being traded for sterling investments. There was also fairly big trades in Stanley Motor Limited. There were 9,416,100 units actually trading in that stock. It was followed by the Jamaica Stock Exchange, which had 2,677,000 units of their stock trading. NCB, there was also another big trade for NCB for the week. There were 2,096,214 units of the stock trading, followed by Sagicor Group Jamaica with 1,047,258 units of their stock being traded on the day. Also, there were 946,432 units of the Caribbean Cement Company that actually traded on Friday. Cygnus Credit Investments, the Jamaican listed stock, there were 531,900 units of the stock traded, followed by 138 Student Living, for which there were 486,685 units of the stock being traded. And then closing out the day on Friday for the most volumes traded were Scotia Group Jamaica with 332,115 shares, and finally there was Grace Kennedy with 287,170 units of their stock being traded. The JSE Combined Index closed out the week 2.83% higher than it started. It ended the week at 281,191.45 points. During the week, we had Apple announcing earnings, and their EPS actually came in higher than analysts had expected. Revenues, however, were lower than expectations. Revenues came in at $84.3 billion when there was an approximate $85 million being expected by analysts. Personally, I'm actually very bullish on Apple, not because of the iPhone sales or Mac sales, but rather because of the growth that I've been seeing in the services business. Services business grew by 19% basically year over year. Revenues from services was actually came in at an all-time high. The services from revenue came in at $10.9 billion US dollars. They also saw significant growth in their other service lines such as Apple Pay, iTunes and Apple Music, as well as there were record sales for the December quarter on Apple Store, as I name, on the App Store. Okay. I guess I could record that again. That's really not going to be great if I leave it like this. I've been watching that. I should be watching that. Also, this week I sold 50% of my shares in AMG paper packaging. And the reason for that is primarily because the stock had basically gone up by more than 30%. If you've been watching my Instagram stories during the week, you would have seen a post that I had made about a decision in terms of when I decide to exit a stock. For me, I'm typically looking to make 30% per year. And in this case, the shares that I bought in AMG actually went up by more than 30%. Now, these are shares that I bought less than a month ago. So I actually bought them in like the first week of January. And for them to have gone up 30%, for me, that was a point at which I would have, say, basically exited, having realized my annual goals in terms of just how much the stock had gone.